every day and in every way. Enjoy that I find support. No matter the role you play, nutrient pack supplement for you and me. In your body, that I fight you.
Darabite nutritional supplement is loaded with essential multivitamins, minerals, and natural ingredients that helps you to be at your best. Darabite from LB Pharma. Darabite, love yourself.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is your favorite health TV talk show, The Physicians, where your health is our business. Last week, we had an amazing, lovely doctor on set with us, and she was talking about from the angle of a mother who has a child living with autism, she being a medical doctor, because our topic for this period is autism spectrum disorder. She went ahead to tell us how she was in her feelings when she eventually got the diagnosis of her child living with autism at the age of 4. But the beauty about it is that she and her partner, that is the son's dad, are in it together. And that is one thing that really was very inspiring. No blames and no pointing fingers. And this child that was 4 as the time was diagnosed is almost 10 years old now, with all the lovely stories the mother has shared with us. We ended that program with the fact that she told us she wanted the child to learn how to ride bicycle, and she wasn't seeing it until one day she saw the child riding the bicycle on his own. She had to celebrate those small wins while waiting for those big wins. And of course, we still have her back in the studio. She'll be telling us more about autism spectrum disorder from the angle of a mother that has a child living with autism, and of course being a medical practitioner. Dr. CHIBUKI. I really love how we ended the last episode. Appreciating the small wins and then looking for the big, because in life, truly, we are looking for those big things. Meanwhile, we are lost, those small wins. But again, we also hear, because keeping up with the physicians, from our audience, we've got to know that people are like, there's something, maybe it's something you ate, maybe it's the way you walked around, maybe you didn't do the test. She's a doctor, she should have known. In fact, one of them even said that when his wife was pregnant, the wife was following somebody on social media that was demonstrating how to look after a child. He flared up like, why are you following this person? You are pregnant. And so they don't feel that maybe it's a bit contagious. So what school us? Because now everybody is back. And this is the time for you to call all your neighbors, siblings, everybody. And we're back on set and we're continuing with the discussion, autism spectrum disorder. And so Dr. CHIBUKI, the causes, what could be the cause of autism?
I'll first start with autism is one of those diagnoses that you get that cannot be screened in utero. Okay, there's no genetic testing you want to do, there's no blood testing of the fetus or the mother that you will be able to say this child is going to have autism. Yes. In addition to that, there's been no cause per se. I won't say there's no etiology, but there may be risk factors, there may be pointers, but when you say something cause, if I hit this thing, that's what caused it to move. But autism doesn't have one of those. And one of the common things that have been fingered as causing autism will be genetics. Okay? So we can say that it can be familial. So when my son got this diagnosis of autism, I tried to look.
Who is in the family that have ever had it?
But then, on a closer look, I could find some people who were neurodivergent.
In your family,
in my family and in my husband's family. Okay, so they were always lurking, okay? And diets. Now, we don't know what it is, but studies have shown that the children who end up with the diagnosis of autism, they've seen in their blood, they see heavy metals, mercury, lead, okay, and that's why sometimes some people think if you chelate these metals, you may see some gains in behaviors, in the negative behaviors of people with ASD. Okay, so with also, there's been also been some studies that have shown that the children who end up with the diagnosis of autism, they've seen in their blood, they see heavy metals, mercury, lead, okay, and that's why sometimes some people think if you chelate these metals, you may see some gains in behaviors, in the negative behaviors of people with ASD. Okay, so with also advanced age of both mother and father. Comes with a lot of things like Down syndrome, autism is one of those things. So yes, you should start to have kids early, and even if when you're not ready, you can, cryopreserve your gametes, your egg and your sperm. You can freeze them so that when you're ready, you can have your children. And studies have also shown, when I'm going back to genetics, if you have a child with autism, you may have another child with autism. The chance of having another child with autism is high. That's another thing. So I have 4 kids.
And this is your second.
This is my second.
So the age gap between the second and the third.
It's long. So between my first and I had 2 kids under 2 at first. So I got pregnant for my second child when my first child was about 3 months plus. And then I was found with this child that I was managing, struggling with, and I was scarred. I had some post-traumatic stress disorder around that, having another child, the fear of autism. How do I manage? Because I've really seen in the community, in the lot spectrum, I've seen a mother who has 3 boys and all 3 have autism. I know of another pilot, 3 children, all have autism. Of different spectrum, by the way, and of different support needs. But you can't really tell, So I struggled with that. I had a neighbor, she too had a child with autism, okay? And she said she's not gonna have another baby. She has 2 boys. The first had autism, the second no autism. And she wanted a third child, she wanted a girl, but she couldn't. But one day, I said, how will I can't give in to my fears. I'm gonna do it afraid. Or die not die. Let's do it, because I wanted and thankfully I had a third child. And then I need to really, need to put this out there. And then I had a third child. I was so scared.
I can imagine.
Every week I said, this is autism. What is autism? We'll test that. We've done it before, we'll do it again. And then that made me, I wanted her to start school quite late. We started very early because I was scared. This one, she's not talking. I've seen some delayed speech, So
that's things that were not there.
They were not there. So with that, and then of course there's this controversy around the MMR vaccination at 18 months. Truthfully, there's been no scientific linkage between MMR vaccination and autism. But I do have parents in the support group who say
just after
that, and I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with their realities, in all honesty. So what my village people will say, they say, wherever you see problem, before you even reach there, just divert. So my daughter did not take that 18 months vaccination. That is where the mother part of me came in, not me being a medical doctor. She didn't take that vaccine. I said I was going to delay it till she was over 2 months, but I don't think she ever took it. In fact, my husband still teases me that I owe that child a lot of vaccinations. But I mean, I am human, MMR at 18 months, because it's been fingered to cause. Some people do swear by it that they noticed regression in their child's development after that vaccination. It could be true, it cannot be true, because some people will take this vaccine and nothing happens. Some other people say, oh, my child started to lose words, started to throw tantrums, have meltdowns, which is another debilitating symptom of autism, meltdowns. So, but I can't argue with that. And because of that, and in all honesty, I can't remember that there was any change in my son's development after that, but I did not give it for my third child. But once I was able to, conquer that fear of having a third child, I had to fuck on.
That is really good to hear. Then you've talked about the symptoms, and as a mother, the diet. Let's hit the diet. Because we know very well that most parents, mothers especially, that are managing and they're taking care of the children who are on the spectrum will tell you, don't do this, don't give this child this. But some of them forget that on the spectrum, people differ. What your child will take and be okay with may not be okay with the other one. So from your own experience, and being one who has a platform where you have mothers sharing their experiences, what does it look like? What do you think? What do you advise? Okay?
The role of diet.
The role of
This
diet.
is another topic that I can do for. So I'm going to speak personally, okay? And let me first speak generally on the autism journey as a parent. First and foremost, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon because your child is with you for life, and your child is constantly changing, and you're constantly changing with your child. So at different times, you want to try different things, okay? When you first get your diagnosis, you're like, it's like almost like it's a cycle. What am I going to do? I need to do this, I need to do this. And then you get to a certain time, you say, okay, slow down.
Okay.
So, with diets, I personally don't believe you should strict diets. Even someone like me that I've been around all my life, we always say, I'm always on one diet, from one diet to another. But what is constant? Keeping a balanced diet, the right things. It's not about doing a keto diet or a maple syrup diet. Chop normal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Only there, Dr. Chop normal, not keto diet, not maple syrup diet. Chop normal.
Chop normal.
Chop normal. Okay, chop normal.
normal.
I should have said so.
And by chop normal, I mean we all know that excessive refined sugars are not to be encouraged for either neurotypical or neurodivergent. So when a child has excess of refined sugars, you see that they're hyperactive and all of that. But it would even also affect your neurotypical child negatively. So why bother? So unusual additives, coloring. So those are the basics. So when I mean chop normal, I mean do what is right. Not because your child is on the spectrum. That's why you have to have, So yes, there are diets. I personally tried the gluten-free, casein-free diet, which means that you need to eat a foods that are free of gluten and then free of the casein protein, which is found in dairy products. Now I tried that, and for about maybe a month or 2 months, and to be honest, I didn't think I saw any difference. And I think I was fooling myself at some point because my son was going to take milk and all of that, but he would take chocolate. So I said, no.
Milk.
I said one day, I just said, I'm not doing this. And I stopped cold turkey and went back to regular diets. But I do honestly need to state that I saw a difference when he went back to regular diets. Yes, he started a negative behavior. I think he was having some tics. But I still continue to expose him to regular diets and everything. So I fixed that with redirection. So when he started the tics, I said, don't do that. Exactly. And I was able to fix it. That was my own personal story. So, and why I did that was because it wasn't sustainable for my family. I have a very big family. And having a child with a different diet or having to have everybody in the child follow that diet posed to be very impossible. And it was also the financial implications of it. I'm like, you know what? Can we just chop normal? Okay, I'll try to do what is best for all the children, not because I have a child with special needs. And that's really my philosophy about managing autism in general. So some parents believe, oh, my child doesn't like. So there are some kids on the spectrum who have hypersensitivity to noise, for example. Okay, so they have an auditory processing disorder. There are different types of processing disorders, and because of that, you wear muffins when you're over your child's ear, and you're not taking them to noisy areas.
Yeah.
I have a different school of thought, and that's because perhaps my child's support needs are not as high. But I do believe that a child should be exposed to that stimuli which they cannot process very well in little doses. Now, what do I mean? The biggest meltdown my son ever had was 2019 December. We went to a very popular supermarket
on the island,
and as we got in, my son was screaming, pulling, biting, kicking, fighting.
Because of the environment?
Because of the environment. I didn't know at that time. I begged him, I spanked him, nothing worked. One man came and told me that he was an imam that would pray for my son.
Ah, wow.
Different people were looking at me.
It's such a
But then the diagnosis had already been made.
Yes, but I didn't know what I was in denial because I hadn't fully understood what I had said in the last episode. The autism I knew in medical school is different from the autism that I'm living now. Yeah. So I was one woman who came and told me, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Oh,
I will
that
never
was so
forget that woman.
reassuring.
It was very reassuring. But at that day, I was at my wit's end. I couldn't just, you know. And it was later on in my journey to understanding autism, I knew what was happening. It was crowded.
Yeah.
It was festive season. It was
And a lot of noise.
A lot of noise. The smell.
Yeah.
From
Sound.
the seafood,
Yeah.
the lights.
Like,
So it was very overwhelming for him, and that's why he had that meltdown.
hyperstimulated.
He was hyperstimulated. So what I did was because we can't go into anywhere now.
Oh.
What I did was I always told him where we're going. We're going to the fish market. We're going to see plenty of fish. It's going to be stinking. We're going to see octopus. What kind of fish would you see? He would say one. What kind of seafood? That kind of thing. So he kind of prepared his mind. So that when he gets there, he's not overwhelmed with the stimulus and it becomes overwhelming for him. And also, like I said, I in small doses. So we'll stop, he'll see it, we'll pass. Some days we'll calm down, he's out. When I see he's getting, he goes back into the car. Things like that. So in fact, even before I remember that even before he got his diagnosis, we went for a child's first birthday. As we got into that party till we left, my son was screaming.
It was cranky.
He was cranky, pulling my hair, fighting me. It was too much for him, but that doesn't happen now. Does he like to go out as much? No.
Okay.
He'll say, no, I'm going to be home. He'll say, I'm going to be home, I'm not going. You know, until I nudge him and I come, let's go. You're going to jump. He goes, okay. You know, but yes, preparing his mind has helped and exposing him to that stimuli that he doesn't like in small doses. So now he can take it as it comes.
Okay, that is really nice to hear you speak like this. And so it means that as a mother, not because you're a professional, one has to be very intentional about it, and you must participate.
Yeah.
Because if you are not observant, you won't be able to do all that.
You miss a lot.
Yes, it means a lot of them. So now that you have gone through all this, you're speaking from experience, right? And then you know how your child relates. What would be your advice? What would be your advice to everyone who is listening, even those that have children that they're managing, that are on the spectrum, and those that are not? Because even some mothers who also are professionals are still in denial.
All right.
They're still in denial.
And
Yes. Because maybe before you go, there are certain stages that one will go through when you hear news. Mona will speak more to that. When you hear news, 5 stages before yes, denial, bargaining, anger. So it looks like this thing also sets in when this news is broken. Why me? So now, please, I would really appreciate if you're able to let people know. Yes, it's good to go through these phases, but it gets when you need to accept and deal with it. Yeah. Because if you don't accept it, it's difficult for that child to have help.
Yes. So the first thing I'll say is seek help from the right source.
Awesome.
It's not about Google or somebody in your church or somebody. I mean, that opportunities like this are really rare. You have a doctor who's a mother talking about her experience. You're getting to hear from the right source. Seeing the physicians. You don't just don't listen to one babalawo or one imam or I'm Catholic or one reverend father. No. Go straight to a trusted medical, and not everybody who calls himself a doctor is a doctor. We spoke about that.
Not for doctors who live
exactly. So you need to speak to a psychiatrist. You need to speak to a developmental specialist. You need to speak to sometimes a speech therapist who is not a doctor, but is able to tell you what speech pathology your child has and how you can help your child. So the right information is important. Also, getting support system. Your spouse, your mom, your sister, your aunt, your domestic staff, whatever you need to be able to transfer that knowledge to your domestic staff for people like us that are not at home every time, so that in your absence, there's no gap. And just a word of encouragement. Late bloomers still bloom.
Good.
It is important that, I mean, if anybody who, I remember very well my mom being on this journey together. She says, don't worry, CHIBUKI, before 5, no matter this boy will talk. and truly he spoke well. So like I said, I'd always been verbal, but maybe not verbal for age, you know. But so he walked it, all those things that were really difficult, that seemed so distant, reading, writing. He doesn't really like to read, but you see he reads. He doesn't like to write, but he writes. You know, so late bloomers still bloom. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, but trust me, where we're coming from
is better than where you are going.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Like, I can just sit here, just listening to you and just having that feeling that it has been a journey. And the fact that I said, late bloomers still bloom. And that is a word of encouragement to you out there. If you have a child living with special needs, whether it is autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, any other special needs, you know, late bloomers still bloom. And you've heard it from Dr. CHIBUKI AIGBE here, medical doctor, also a mother who has a child living with autism. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Find what works for your child, because it's a spectrum. It's not aligned with one specific thing. If it is dietary changes, fine. If it is medication, fine. If it is occupational therapy, if it's applied behavioral, whatever fits your child is what you should focus on. And your child doesn't have to be in a special needs school. If your child can be in a mainstream school, fine. But, you know, like you said, it's not a destination, it's a journey. So please, family support, social support. She has a support group, and you can reach out to her so you can be part of that support group. Until next time, my name is Dr. Mimuna Kadri. Remain blessed.
Thank you so much, Dr. CHIBUKI, and I can't express my appreciation enough. It's a lot of courage and strength for you to be able to come out in public to speak about this. Many people still live in denial. They don't want to accept it. They don't even want people to know that their children or the child is going through this. They're doing more harm to that child than good. Because some will lock these children at home and don't let other people know. Yeah. But thank God you have come out like this, and you also have a platform. And I'm sure you're also supporting a lot of people. It's good to speak out. And I kind of appreciate you enough. I just want to say thank you. And I know it takes a lot of finances on the family, but then it is where you're going. You always should be focused. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you again as a guest on our program. And to our viewers, I just want to say again, thank you for being part of our program today. We started since last week talking about autism, the spectrum disorder, and Dr. CHIBUKI has been doing justice to that, finally resting it today. If you know somebody who is probably on the spectrum, all the person requires of you is love and care and support. That will help a great deal. And there's no myth. Don't say the person probably, the mother did something or the father did something. Please, let's do the right thing. And on the physicians, we like to debunk a lot of things. You can always get the best from our platform. Follow us on our social media platform on YouTube to learn more, to hear more, and listen to all we have been saying on the spectrum, on this program. Don't follow people that on social media that will tell you this and that and just milking unsuspecting public. Get facts from the physicians. My name is Dr. Martina AIGBE. Till next time, stay blessed.
Every day and in every way, enjoy that I find support. No matter the role you play, nutrient pack supplement for you and me. In your body, that I fight you.
Darvite nutritional supplement is loaded with essential multivitamins, minerals, and natural ingredients that helps you to be at your best. Darvite from LB Pharma. Darvite, love yourself.